I'm going to jump into something called Anything But MMA. It's a segment we do at Energy TV. It's something new, and we just want to learn more about your life outside of MMA. So, you served 6 years in
Let's
the Air
go.
Force as a combat controller, right? Your role was centered
Yep.
around working as a source of communication from the air to the ground.
Yep.
Do you have any interesting stories from your time there?
Yeah, man. I mean, just first of all, the whole thing was really, really cool. Really awesome experiences for me. I got to do a lot of cool things all over the world. Got to go to Southeast Asia. Obviously, I got to get deployed to Afghanistan to go do that and do that. So that's really cool experience for me. A lot of jumping out of planes, skydiving, Halo, high altitude, high opening, dive school. Um, all the I really liked that. I had a lot of good time in training actually to become a combat controller. It was actually it was really challenging. It was like a 90% attrition rate. So like we started with like 120 people or so whatever it was, and we only ended up like I think 6 or 7 of us actually like made it through. So thought that was really, it was cool to like really learn how to grind and just learn how to learn what I was made of. I don't think if I didn't do that portion of my life, I wouldn't be half the fighter that I am today. They say like iron sharpens iron. Like the guys I got surrounded by around in that community kind of made me who I am today. It taught me work ethic, taught me discipline, taught me just like kind of how to be a man. So I thought that that was really really good portions of my life. And yeah, man. Story wise, man, I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me in freaking, I've had cutaways where my parachute didn't open up all the way. I had to reopen a new parachute. I had one portion I almost fell out of the back of an airplane. I've jumped out of helicopters. Done a lot of cool stuff within the military. So yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Wow, man, that's insane. And obviously these experiences probably pushed you till the end and really made you realize what you're made of. So I want to know, was there any moment in your training or even your 6 years there where you wanted to give up, but one of your, fellow members like helped push you through it?
Actually, yeah, there's been there's been portions of my training. So the academic portions for me were the hardest parts. So we had to become an air traffic controller, and going into the job, I had no idea what an air traffic controller was. So that was a really hard school for me, and I failed it like the first time. I remember like I failed like my first test, and then when you fail your academic test, you have to wash back. It's called to the next team that's coming through, and in the meantime, you're basically just get smoked every single day, which is like they bring you out, just destroy you until the next team. So it was like a couple months where I had to like wait till the next team came through. But anyways, I remember just being really, really down and being like, fuck, I don't know if this is for me. I failed the first test. Like maybe this is about, and my friend's just like, I remember one of my friends, Kuzma, he's just like, what are you going to do? Just quit? I was like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of gave me that talk. And I just like, yeah, that's right. It's not worth quitting. And then I end up passing. So there's been a couple times through the pipelines where I failed schools. I failed dive school the first time. So dive school, there's this test called one man's, and basically what they do is they bring you down under the water. They give you a dive mask that's blacked out so you can't see anything, and then the instructors come around and they thrash you around, and then they take your regulators and your hoses and they tie it up behind you, and they're like, I'm like launch themselves off the wall into your stomach. Like they're like really kind of like beating you up down there, and you just gotta just sit there, take it, and then you'll feel like a part where they're not messing with you, and then you have to untangle all of your stuff, get to your air source, take your breath, and then as soon as you take a breath off your air source, boom, they hit you again. And this goes on for like 15 minutes until you get to this point called the whammy knot. And the whammy knot's this thing where they tie a knot that you can't get undone. And then what you realize is you can't get it undone. You have to ditch your equipment, get to your air. And if you do that, you pass. So I failed that test for like procedures or whatever it was. So that was like a year and a half into the pipeline. So I had to wash back again to go through that again. I remember just like being really down and being like, oh man. But the one thing I could say is like all those moments I've had in my military career where it's like, I worked my ass off to get this thing and I failed and I had to wash back and do all over again. It's made me a better person, made me a better fighter. And I kind of brought that to my mentality of fighting in the contender series where my first time fighting, make it to the contender series, I worked my ass off, did everything I possibly could do, just get to that point to fight in the contender series. And I lost against Francis Marshall. And then like, there's no like saying, hey man, that's it. You're going to get another shot next year. Like, you don't know if you're going to get another shot. So, but I went back into the gym and just started grinding, working my ass off. And just by the chance of luck, I got onto Dana White's Looking for a Fight. and won that fight. And then I thought I was going to get a contract after that. And they're like, nope, we're going to bring you back on the Contender Series again. So, and then I finally, fought for my third time in front of Dana, going on the Contender Series again for the second time. Just matched up against a 10-0 Brazilian guy that was like all first round finishes, killer. And I got the win. So I feel like those moments that I learned from the military about like when you think, you failed, you didn't make it, but you just got to go back to the drawing board and work your ass off. It makes you a better, stronger person. I kind of applied that mentality to being a fighter, and it kind of paid off. And I'm fighting in the UFC. And it's kind of what I'm doing right now for my first UFC fight. Like, I didn't get my first UFC, didn't go my way, but my whole life has been like, you don't make it. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board, work your ass off, become a better, stronger person, and go in there and just give it your all and try to get that win.
Wow, that's an inspirational story, and it shows that everything happens for a reason, and you're the king of bouncing back. So once you're done fighting, you should be a motivational speaker.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always 2 times Matthews. I never get it the first time. It always takes me 2 times to get it. Unfortunately, I
Hey,
wish I
second
got it
time's
the
the
first
charm.
time.